Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time and depending on when you're going to be seeing this video. It's your brother, your boy, Cos Reps Corner. Like I always tell you guys, it's my corner, it's your corner, and it's our corner.
I don't wanna fall in love, I just wanna have some fun, yeah.
I just saw this video now from social media and I decided to talk about it. There was something pastorjerryeze of NSPPD said about what the mother told him before he got married to his wife. I will not drag it because the video is a bit long. I want you to hear what led to that and what he said after the mother told him that. Let me tell you something. You should know when your children are having issues, or when they are not having issues, or when they have troubling times, or when they don't have troubling times. You should also know when their moods change, so that you can know when you come in as a mother and as a father or as a parent. That is just a summary of this video. Let me not talk much. Let me allow you hear what the mother told him before he got married to his wife. Then you can see that yes, the mother saw it. Although I'm not saying all marriages are perfect, but he will confirm that yes, the mother saw it, and at some point in their marriage it was like that. From what he said, I'm not the one that said it, but God stood for him. I hope you understand. So let me allow you to relax and hear what he has to say. I haven't said I want to thank you for always watching my content. I want to appreciate you for your love and the care. For those of us who have not subscribed or follow us in our social media platform, please, I beg you, subscribe to our channel, like, comment, and share so that we can move this ministry to the permanent side. To come away next time to see me on your screen, guys. I leave us with this video of a revelation pastorjerryeze said about his late mom, what the mom told him before he got married to his wife. Please watch this video, give me your comment, your reaction, your opinion in the comment section after watching the video.
So, you know, I'm a product of a woman's prayer. And let me share with you a few things. I had said them at different times. So many nights, I can remember more than 3 times. I would wake up in the middle of the night and I discovered that my mom was praying, holding my legs, and her tears were touching my legs. You know, and then she was praying profusely. And then it concerned me a little bit, because if I woke up and I saw my mom was crying and holding my legs and her tears were touching my legs, sleep would just leave my eyes. And I kept wondering, why is she crying? Is it anything? Is there? So one day we were coming back from a Wednesday midweek service. So and I asked her, I said, why are you always crying in the middle of the night praying for me? My dear mother said to me, what God has revealed to her about me, that she doesn't have the capacity. The word is not capacity. She said, I don't know how to do it. So when I hold you and pray for you, I'm just asking you, him, to help me make you who he wants you to be, because I cannot do it. And every time, you see, I want to tell every woman here, the first reason why God gave you your child is for you to know who you are betting. Every prayer you're going to make might be outside of the will of God if God doesn't reveal your child to you. And my mom never stopped praying. She continued to pray. She continued to pray. I don't know the burden, but I would always say that if there is anything I desire, I would have wanted her to see days like this, so that she can look back and know. It's true that a woman you can pray your children into destiny. It is true. There is no prayer said over, no matter how stubborn a child is right now, no matter how much they look like they are not fitting into destiny, there's no prayer said over a child that is a waste. God does not stop prayers. He answers them. And so when I am a little bit confounded when I see mothers who can pray, and I'm not talking about vain repetition, I'm talking about revelational prayers. Lord, show me about my child. What are the challenges of this child? What will this, let me say this. I remember the first time I brought my wife to my mother, and I told my wife this. I brought my wife to my mother and I showed my wife and I said, this is the person I'm going to marry. She said, I said, So she said, where is she from? I said, she's from Calabar. She said, So immediately she said, I said, my mother is biased. My mother is very biased. So she now asked my wife to excuse her a bit, that she wants to talk to me. She said last night that I brought somebody to her, and that she wants to tell me that I will have problem, that she's not stopping me, but that there will be problem. And the truth is, you and I, of course, you already know the story, all the book my wife wrote and all of that. If you're a mother here and God is not talking to you about your children, you are parenting in blindness. At least God should be able to tell you, who is this child? Where is this child going to? What is becoming of this child? My mother said that to me. That's one very fundamental thing she said to me. She said, I don't know how to make you become who God says, so I'm asking God to help me. And that's the first prayer I'm going to pray. Whether you have a child or you don't have a child, whether they are adults or whether they are young, I make the first prayer. When you don't have the capacity to make your child who your child is supposed to be, even if you don't know the compass and you don't know how to make that child become, I pray for you today. Let God that gave you those children, at the sound of your amen, let God make them who he wants them to be. Your weaknesses will not speak against your children. Your failures will not speak against your children. Today I pray for your own children. Any child currently going through any attack, I pray today, let those attacks be broken right now. I say, let them be broken right now. 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 Let your amen thunder louder. Take your seat. And I remember on an occasion where in our local church, it was the very first time I was sitting with my mother, in fact in the church right at the back. I was probably between maybe, I can't remember, maybe I was 10, between 9 and 10 or 11, between 9, 10 and 11. So they announced in church that we're going to have 3 days dry fasting. 3 days dry fasting in church. So I turned to my mother. I told my mother that I will do 1 day of the fast, because I really loved God. I loved everything about God. I said I will do 1 day of the fast. My mother turned to me and said, you will do the 3 days. I told my mother, I'm a child. My mother, I've never forgotten, opened Jeremiah for me. She reads Igbo Bible. My mother reads Igbo Bible, and she opened Jeremiah for me. You remember when Jeremiah said, I am a child, I cannot speak. Then God replied Jeremiah and said to Jeremiah, do not say I am a child. Church, you cannot believe that this is how my mother and I went through a journey of 3 days. Dry fasting. I died and I woke up, and the fast had not yet finished. People of God, you know, now they will call it child abuse, but my mother abused me into destiny. Let me say this. You know, there are people you can't even fight because the prayers over their heads are older than you. You can't even trifle with them. So there are things that are going to be happening in the lives of your children, and it will not be because the children, you see what is even working for you. This guy is not disciplined, this guy does not have sense, this guy, but whatever he touches works. Somebody is praying for them. Listen, I want to tell everyone, especially those of us who have children who are still coming up and you have control over, don't shy away from introducing them to spiritual discipline. Don't shy away from introducing them to spiritual. When your child, if your child has reached 6 years, your child can do fasting. He can do 6 to 12. He does not kill anybody. He can do 6 to 12, 6 to 10. But shall let him know that you cannot wake up in the morning today and eat. My mother introduced me to spiritual discipline in line with my destiny, not in accordance with my age. This is why God has to speak to you about every child, because you know what to apply to the child based on who that child is. Always, I've never forgotten this. My mother said to me, you're going to, and I did the 3 days, but by the 3rd day I was under the bench. I was right under the bench, and there was a prophetic word going on. So prophecy was going on. I'm sure some of you are not used to that, but a prophetic word was going on. Right under the bench was where I was. So while they were prophesying, I was, you know, if you've ever done fasting for that long, sleep will not agree, but yet you cannot be awake. So you just be torn in between. You know, Apostle say, whether it be in heaven, I do not know. Whether it be, I don't even know where I was at that time. Right where I was, prophetic word caught me where I was and then brought me out. The first concise and precise blueprint of my life was given that day. How I was going to serve the nations, how so and so was going to happen, how the miraculous was going to break out, and I don't forget her. And that was how let me tell you, some people did not just show up. You didn't just see them. They are a product of so many things that have happened. And so I remember my mother on another occasion. I guess once I'm just sharing these 7 things about what my encounters with my mother. Hey, let me say this. My mother was not a perfect woman, by the way, and I'm sure that I've told you that she was a single parent. In fact, let me share with you an issue that went on. I mean, after she got born again, so I had gone out. I was very young, and I'd gone out to, you know, play with the other children. And so I don't know what happened. So one of the children started calling me bastard, bastard, go bastard. Go and call your father. Go and call your father. And I went back and I told my mother that boy that lives at 18 called me a bastard. I should go and call my father. My mother said to me, I did it when I didn't know God. He said, but I know God now. He said, what they called you is what they think of you, but what he called you is not who you are. My mother said to me, from today, God is your father. Listen to what my mother said. My mother said to me that his own father cannot give him everything he wants, because his own father does not have everything. He says, but your own father has everything and can give you from that day till today. I don't even care who is who or who is not who. And I want to use this to encourage every single parent here. Never feel I can't raise a great child. Never feel that my children cannot turn out right. Look at Pastor Jerry. And the truth is that it doesn't even matter what happened when you were in ignorance. That belongs to yesterday. It doesn't even matter how you failed. That was in your yesterday. But what matters is who you are right now. Take your seat. I remember my mother reminding me when I got in. I became a people in our church then called the prayer warriors and all of that. So, and I got in, I became part of the prayer warriors. Now the demons, I say it all the time, that demons now are very digital, you know. And at that time those demons, very analog demons, they are not in a hurry, they do all kinds of things. There's a lot of drama and all of that. It is not now. Then in that our former church, they used to pack mad people for us, mad people, and everybody had their own consignment of mad person. So as you are coming, they are writing like your name and all of that. Jerry has 3 mad people under him. So, and the thing is that it was a church where there was so much, growing up in the right place helps you a lot, where you don't have to explain why the demons did not leave. They say that your spirituality has gone down if you do not produce evidence of how the demons have left those people. So it was literally a deliverance ministry, and then this was exactly what we're doing. My mother was not in that prayer warriors department. She was not. But every night my mother will wake me up and tell me to come for midnight prayer. I remember my mother waking me up one night. I told her I cannot pray, that today's own I cannot pray, that I'm very tired. So I slept off. The next thing I heard was Tawai, and that sleep left me. And my mother told me that, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying it exactly, that who goes for war in the morning and sleeps through the night? If I say to you, for the over 15 years of my life, I don't sleep at night, just because, and NSPPD had not yet come up at the time. So when people sit back and say, oh, this is what we are doing is enjoyment, I look at them and I laugh. I am sold out for this. I wish I will even have the time. When you pray through the night and you do ministry in the morning, the puzzle, my wife will tell you, this has been our life all to the time we've been married. And then you pray, and then you do, and it's been that way. And I want to tell you, it was my mother that started this thing. He said, you cannot have war in the morning and you are sleeping in the night. She pushed me into what it means to be an intercessor. She pushed me what it means to pray and all of that. Let me say this. I'm sure in my mother's mind, she didn't know, will this stick with this child? Will he forget it at some point? Will it be? Don't call your children children. When you relate with your children, you are not speaking to their mind, you are talking to their spirit. A child can be distracted, acting distracted, and all of that. Please don't allow the distraction distract you. You are speaking to the spirit of the child. When your children are at sleep, open the scriptures, read over their lives, declare over their lives. No matter what your children are doing, speak. My mother was a master in prophetic action, and I said it at the last women's program where I was speaking, and I said to them, my mother would, while she is frying in the kitchen and all of that, in a local kitchen, our local kitchen, with all that fire and all of that. So when I come into the kitchen, my mother would drag a stool, those kitchen stools, in the kitchen, and told me that I should sit at the seat of the kings. That I should sit at the seat of the kings. That this thing I am sitting now, where I am sitting now, is the seat of. Everything is prophecy for my mother. She prophesied over everything. Things that made sense, things that did not make sense, everything is prophetic. People of God, every mother here, you have the pictures of your children. Prophesy. If you find their clothes anywhere, prophesy. Anything that is happening, prophesy. And I don't forget, and I just remembered it. Ordinary wooden kitchen stool, my mother called it seat of the kings. Why don't you call your own child's dress of the kings? Find something, and because they cannot fail. They cannot fail. They cannot fail. If you see when your own destiny came under attack, you can imagine what your children are going through right now. And half of it they are not telling you. Half of it they are not telling you. And I say this because my mother taught me, and my mother will tell me, don't eat when you go to people's house. That time, don't eat when you go to people's house. And my mother will come back and then call me and say to me, you ate? I said, I did not eat. And then, because I don't used to lie, but I will lie, I said I did not eat. So if I told my mother I did not eat, my mother should agree that I did not. My mother said to me, you ate. My mother would tell me the time I ate. My mother would tell me what I ate. And that was the one that I registered in my heart. I picked it up with my daughter as my daughter was going to secondary school about 3 years ago. I told her, let me remind you, I can see. Anything you do, God will tell me. And she thought it's a joke. Now there we did now. Anything going on, God will tell me. And so I remember her going back to school after her first year, and I said to her, what is that one thing you'll always remember about daddy? He said to me, daddy said, anything I do, God will tell you. And I remember her guardian making reference to that and all of that, that Samara will say to her and all of that, that my daddy can hear God though. I cannot do anything now, because if I do, God will tell my father. Beyond that, father, mother, can you have a relationship with God that God can tell you when your children are struggling? Can God even tell you what is about to happen in the future so that you can forestall it? It will not meet you like an emergency. Am I communicating? There are things that happen in my life now. I know I pray, but there are some that will happen. I will tell myself, that's my mother's prayer. I know I pray, but there are things that will happen. When you see the way they will play out, I sit back and say, Kai, that is a broken woman's prayer. That is a broken. There was something I've always shared this with you, how my mother, I got a job with a World Bank project on HIV and AIDS. And then I had even gotten a job with the UN. And I went to show my mother, and I said to my mother, our life has changed. I said, our life has changed. My mother was the most important person to me. So I went to tell my mother, now you will live in my house with this salary. I will change everything. I was excited, telling my mom this, telling my mom that. My mom was so uninterested. I told told her, why? She said, everything you are telling me is not what God told me about you. Let me tell you, parents, some things your children will celebrate, you need to pray about them and be sure that most of them will not die in it. Pray about them. Not how exciting it is means that God is there. And God, my mother told me, that's not what God told me. That's not what you should do. Hey, as in, it's not what God told you. I told my mother that we quarreled that day. I quarreled with my mother. I said, it's not what God told you. What God told you is that way. And you're telling me to go into full-time ministry. Which example do I have around me to show me that if I go into full-time ministry, nothing will happen to me? Which example? No example. Say it's not what God told. That I will serve God. I will serve God. If people understood my dialect, I would have spoken it for. She would that I should serve God. That what God is saying, I should forget everything and serve God. I should serve God. I should serve God. I should serve. So I asked my mother. I said, so if I'm serving God and I get hungry and all that, he said, if I die, I'll go to heaven. Because she too, she did not have an example of serving God, that you will be fine serving God. So she didn't have that example. All she knows is that just do the right thing, serve God, and then die and go to heaven. I told my mother, not me. And that's how I kept doing until my mother died. But see, one very striking thing, my mother took ill, and then when I came to see her the night before she died, so I came to see her. So whenever I come, I'm always the one praying for her because she was sick. So but that night, my mother said she wanted to pray for me, that I should kneel down, let her pray for me. So and I knelt down. My mother began to pray for an hour, 7 minutes. My mother was praying. She was crying. She was praying. She was crying. She was praying. She was crying. And when she was done, she told me, nothing will happen to you. And my mother was full of smiles. And when I was ready to go, she now called me by my Igbo name, and she said to me that Shebi, I know that this has sickness, that if I had what it took, that she will still not be sick. So I told her that I'm trying, that I don't know what else to do, that what is happening to you is not something that will kill somebody tomorrow, that I'm trying, that medications, we're giving medications and all. She said no, that Shebi, I know that I've not reached that height in the spirit where I can speak to this her sickness and it will go. She said to me, no matter what you are doing, try and get to that height where sicknesses like mine can hear your voice and go. And as far as I was concerned, I just felt like, she likes talking about God, everything, God. I told her, yes, I will get to that height where sickness is that. So I was getting offended. I said, look at this woman, all the trouble I'm going through for you, you are not appreciating. Now I should get to the height. Come and carry me to the height. Let me reach the height. And the next day, I heard my mom was dead. The only word that came back to me was, get to the height so that sicknesses like mine can hear your voice. And I made up my mind that whatever it would take, I wish I were me now. My mother would not have died. But it's not late. So what I could not do for her, I will do it for my generation. So when people say to me, calm down, You're being too extra. You don't have to do all these prayers every night and all of that. I would never want it to be said that a man prayed and demons ridiculed your voice. Never. So, sir, it's about how your spirit man is stratified. There's a place where you grow. There are things that cannot withstand your voice. Many years ago, this voice could not make it happen. But I'm glad today that it's an endless journey of continuing. So my passion for what I'm doing, my mother was my treasure. And I want to tell every young person here, please take care of your mother. They are not perfect, but love your mother. You probably wouldn't know how valuable your mom is until you wake up and not find your mother anymore. Love your mother, take care of your mother. They don't have to ask you for you to give them. I know they can be quite a handful most times. They can complain, they can do. Just be nice, be kind to your mother. Please be kind to your mother. Be kind to your parents as well. Be kind to, remember your parents. Remember them. Show them how much you care and how much, if God blesses you in whichever way, let your parents feel it. Let them feel that God has blessed you. Let them know that God, you see, if anything happens to you, the side chicks won't be there. If anything happens to you, I'm telling you the truth, it's so easy how people move on. But your parents will have a hard time to move on. It will scar them so much. I wish I spent more time. I didn't know my mom was going to die. I wish I spent more time. I wish I did more. And that's what I keep saying to myself. But the most important thing is, on the Mother's Day, I had my message prepared, and as soon as I sat down through the service, my heart was just in a mixed place. Not mixed because I remember my mother. No, that's not it. But I just wondered, a woman who didn't hear any message about parenting, a woman who didn't hear anything about how to raise a child like this, could go out of, a woman who was even flawed in her own right, but still turns around to do something that could make it. What about us? With all we're hearing, with everything, God raised us all up to raise a different generation, a different breed from us. And it's easy to say, God, bring my spouse, bring the man that wants to marry me now, bring my wife right now. Are you even prepared to be that mother? Do you even have a prayer life that can sustain? I'm not talking about transactional prayer life. Your prayer for right now because there's something you desire that God should do. But hey, away from that, do I have a system? Do I know that this thing I'm getting into is a ministry of its own, and the proof of the ministry is how each and every one of these people will turn out. Don't forget what I said when my mother said, what I cannot do, which should be a prayer for every parent and would-be parent. Lord, what I can't do for my children, please be that for them. When I'm not there, what I can't teach, please teach my children. What I can't give them, please give them. And my mother said, that's the reason why I will hold your legs every night, and I will pray and I will cry, because she knew she was flawed, and she knows there are things that she can't do. On a day like this, mothers, fathers, I want you to realize that nothing needs a mother or a father who is connected to the throne of God and who is ready to make the needed sacrifice. Every time I see people getting married and we celebrate testimonies on NSPPD, I always would ask myself another question: are they ready for this ministry called parenting? What has God told them? What do they know about their children? Are they going to parent a child according to you are a child, or am I parenting you according to your destiny? It's an error for your children to turn out to be teenagers right now and you don't have one word. God has spoken to them. A few light years ago, I told my daughter what God said to me about her. And I told her that it's something that you need to pray and all. And this one, she came back on holiday. She told me, Daddy, let me share a dream I had with you. And she shares a dream with me. And she said, when she finished the dream, I said, wow, it's a dream that you need to pray about. And she reminded me and she said, Daddy, do you remember what you told me I just did? I said, I remembered, but I thought you had forgotten. He said, I've not forgotten, Daddy. And she said, please pray for me. I knew we were making a journey. It will all come together. Rise on your feet wherever you are.